think I've discovered why cars are not exciting today as they used to be.
Hey Rich, how can you say that?
Well, let me explain. I'm not talking about better built or quicker, or that old man saying that I used to hear and hate. They don't build cars like they used to. When your, say, 500 brake horsepower AMG develops that electrical volt with its adjustable dampers or dual clutch gearbox, or something else that wasn't even invented back then. And I'm not talking about super or hypercars. I'm talking about everyday exciting cars, as when you were a child and you saw that XR3i or Opel Manta, that RS Turbo or Sierra Cosworth with its whale tail spoiler. These all stood out. When you were watching something like the professionals on TV with their Capris, or you saw that mad Rover Metro 6R4, or perhaps an Audi Quattro pop into the shops. These look like they've just came from a racetrack or a rally stage. These were everyday cars that were also poster cars. These were dream cars that as a child you thought that one day, if you worked hard, you might have a really good chance of owning yourself. VW dropped the Corrado. The Scirocco that finished production in 2017 was nothing like the Scirocco of the 80s. And even that was less sporty than the design of the original design that was penned by Porsche. That later became the Porsche 924. Nowadays, you buy a hot hatch like a Golf R, which looks pretty much like any other run-of-the-mill Golf. Unless you're a petrol head or a gear knob, debadge it and it's hard to tell. Throw some nice alloy wheels on a lesser spec and the average person won't tell the difference. Same with Ford, same with Vauxhall, same with Opel, same with Peugeot, same with the other VW brands like Audi, Skoda and Seat. Look at Honda, there's no Prelude, no VTEC screaming CRX or S2000. Toyota, there is no Celica, no MR2. And the Supra is not priced for the average man anymore. In fact, the Supra and the GR86 have also been dropped from Toyota's UK website. There's no Mazda RX-7. Apart from hot hatches, there isn't anything to walk into the showroom as a 12-year-old boy and drool over, while your parents are getting their car serviced. And as mentioned, they look so much like the standard car that it does come down to something like it's got a thin red strip on the radiator, or it's got another fake exhaust tip. Now I think the problem is that most car companies in Europe are either owned by Volkswagen or trying to copy Volkswagen. And let's face it, the Germans may build a premium car, but the design philosophy has been tweak and play safe rather than try something outrageous. Just look at a Porsche 911. It's a constant evolution from what Porsche designed way back in 1938 with the Beetle. Now it doesn't mean I don't want one, but you get my idea. Audi, A4, A6, A8 all look the same at a glance. So does BMW with its 2, 3, 4, 5 and 7 series. They all look very similar. And with the collapse of Rover after being bought and asset stripped by BMW, and Ford moving its design base from the UK to Germany, I feel that artistic design, that pure aesthetics that those British designers went to art college and were famous for, may have been lost. No longer is a car designed by the heart designed by a focus group to be the least offensive and appeal to the most people. And that isn't petrol heads. British car designers go to art university to design artistic cars and then worry about the mechanical stuff later, where German designers go to engineering university first. Just try and find pictures of Harris Mann's Allegro, no relation to me, before it was changed by the Leyland board using Leyland's part spin, which turned that Allegro into the car we all hated. Now I'll put a link to a video on that in the description. And to slightly prove my point further, just look at the European Civic. It was designed by Honda Swindon UK. Now the Japanese version was considered boring by most, and Honda went with the British design. Now possibly my favourite Mercedes design is the Mercedes SL, the R320 model. That was designed by British designer Steve Martin and Italian Bruno Sacco. I hope I pronounced that correctly. Even Fiat tried to make their cars more Germanic, and Fiat owners have left as quick as their soul has left their cars. And we can still design sexy cars. Just look at Lamborghini Aventador or Revuelto for example, but it's the cars for the average man or woman, or whatever pronouns that child X579 wants to be called. We need more cars designed for that 12-year-old boy, more Capris, more Calibras, more cars that are designed for the heart and not necessarily the head, more cars for the soul and not the family. Yes, use the floor pan of that hot hatch, but change the body out of those comfy jeans and t-shirts and put something sexy on. Rant over.